Hi, I'm Sarah Jacobs, and we're back with another interview series in our Just Because Home Edition. I have the absolute pleasure today of being joined by Brandie Brojan of Brandie Real Estate. She is a superwoman and an expert in Morris County real estate, and welcoming her to the show. Hi, Brandie.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. Obviously, I've explained to our listeners and our viewers and our network that you are a superwoman in Morris County real estate. So if you wouldn't mind, would you just give us a little bit of backdrop? How did you get into this business to begin with?
Yeah, I know it's a crazy business, right? And it's just so competitive anyway. I get that question often. So about 3 years ago, I actually started this new career. That is coming off of a 10-year career in promotions and marketing for various radio stations. And then I did about a few years as a project manager at a boutique ad agency in New York City. Then I became a stay-at-home mom for a few years and raised my 2 little boys. But a few years ago, I did go through a divorce myself and needed to have a new career path. So, as I thought about it, I took parts of what I loved about my past career. You have to be a very detailed and organized person in my past career. And, I've always had a love for real estate. So I sort of combines all of that, got my real estate license, and here we are.
And I know that we talked a little bit about the idea that you're Morris County based, and I wanted you to be able to give some background about why having a niche in this market is so incredibly important for you as an agent, for your buyers, for your sellers, because I think, for one, it kind of brings that personalized experience to the process. So I was wondering if you could give a little background to that.
Of course. So I do specialize in Morris County. I do that for many reasons. I live in Denville. My office is in Denville, and I have all of my, connections around Morris County. That doesn't mean that I can't operate a little bit outside of that, but it does mean that I'm an expert with numbers, with neighborhoods, with schools, with activities for families and kids. This is where I live. This is where I play. This is what my family, where we have fun in Morris County. So it's important to not only know numbers, right, when you're working with buyers and sellers. Right. Of course, you need to be an expert in being able to price their home for sale competitively, being able to help a buyer know not to pay too much. So it's important to know numbers, but also really important to know different towns, and within that town to know specific neighborhoods and communities, because you might have a buyer looking for a walkability issue. Maybe they only need to commute to New York City every day. All these factors come into play, and when you obviously are an expert in a specific area, you can hone in on that very quickly for them and really truly be a resource, and that's how you super serve your client.
I know a little secret about you, and that's that a couple of years ago, you started a group called Morris County Moms. I think that, which I happen to be a part of, and I think that that gave you a little bit of a competitive edge, if I were to call it that, in being able to leverage the kind of resources that you're talking about when you become an expert. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Absolutely. So, right, a handful of years ago, I actually I love planning, and it goes back again to the career that I used to have, with planning events for huge country music artists, if it was radio stations, or planning a big campaign for the Deadliest Catch, which I did on Discovery Channel. All those little things I missed as being a stay-at-home mom. So I took that interest and put it into creating this mom's club, if you will. I called it Morris County Moms. It's still active today. And really what it was designed to do was to connect moms and do fun things within Morris County, obviously. So I learned a lot. I got to venture to every playground within Morris County. I got to know families that were in many, many school districts. Obviously, you learn private schools. You learn where the best ice cream shop is, because again, you didn't want to be in your town wanted to kind of go out and about and visit friends all over the county. And when you're a stay-at-home mom, I mean, like that's, you live for that, you know, it's you connect with other moms and you get to do fun things with kids. So all those years, I mean, not knowing eventually I would be in real estate, but all that really taught me so much. And I have so many resources now that I can provide buyers looking for something very specific, especially if they're coming from out of state. Or what we're seeing now is the influx of New York City buyers. They're kind of done with that city experience, or they're tired of living, you know, on top of each other right now. And that's brought about by COVID. But what is great is that I can share a lot of my information and kind of match that to maybe sounds that they may be interested in, and speak to that. You know, not only can I share all the little details of a town, the nuances of a school system, and what, you know, how their preschool system works. What do you need to do to register for school? Where the, you know, skating is on Sunday afternoons, all those fun things. But what I've learned to do is also virtually share the parts of these neighborhoods. I've always done that really with out of town and out of state buyers, but we're seeing that even locally, people are they're staying home a lot more, obviously, right now. So for me to be able to go into a neighborhood and say, this is your community park, here's your elementary school, and show that all on video, it's easy for me because I'm just very familiar with it. So, you know, again, like it's just always so important to be a resource and be able to just answer those kind of questions for buyers.
I would think that it's also, you talked about like your background in sales and marketing. I would think that that's a marketing technique too, if you're representing the seller and not necessarily the buyer, because how do you showcase a neighborhood in a listing for a home? You do that with personal knowledge, right? So having that knowledge is a great way to position a sale as well as to inform a buyer, I would think.
Absolutely. Because, you know, it's always important to know who you're supposed to be talking to, right? So if you know that it is a great home for a first-time home buyer, that's how you're going to position your marketing. You know, if it's a great family kind of neighborhood, that's who you want to be talking to. You don't talk to everyone, because when you do that, you talk to no one. So you have to be very specific in who you're targeting. And absolutely, it helps sellers market their homes.
So something that you said kind of struck me. I mean, all of us who are used to buying, selling, listing, you know, into a showing, really open houses, broker open houses. Anybody who's familiar with the real estate industry knows that this is a personal touch industry. It's, you know, consumer based, it's based in personality, it's based in timing. So you mentioned the virtual showings were out of town. I have to assume that's something that's actually happening rampantly right now for the entire real estate industry. So can you give our watchers and our listeners a little bit of feedback as to what the hell is going on with you guys and how you're all making it work? I
know. So real estate obviously is still moving. You know, at the end of the day, people want to own a home. Some people have to do it more urgently. There could be leases that are ending. They have to find something. They could have had sales contingencies where they've already committed to buying a home and they have to get this one sold, or vice versa, right? So there's reasons why people really need to move in the middle of a pandemic. In the last, I would say, week or two, we are seeing more buyers that were out there pre-COVID and sellers that were interested in listing. We are seeing them re-engage in the market. They're ready to kind of talk and get out there a little bit. And the reasons is because we real estate agents have implemented such safety precautions into the way we're doing every part of our business now. And it's really awesome. You know, besides it just being safe, it actually is such a time saver for busy parents as well. So what we're doing actually is, you know, you talk to your real estate agent, you found a lender, you have a pre-approval, right? You're ready to go and shop. You know kind of what you're looking for. You've narrowed down your list, maybe more than you would have pre-COVID, because we're going to get real specific. We're going to get down and dirty really fast because we have a low inventory market, and what is priced well is moving very quickly. So for instance,
so a seller's market.
It definitely is a seller's market. That's right. You know, we don't know what the other side of this looks like. You know, we
Right.
think that after maybe after the summer into the fall, there hopefully will be more inventory, which makes it great for buyers because they'll have more choices. Not as great for sellers because right now there's not a lot for buyers to look for, but buyers need to buy, right? So the
Right.
whole virtual experience has really helped us keep our business moving and really super serving our clients. So it's, you know, just a little bit about what we're doing is just like in pre-COVID days, we're showing you that MLS listing, right? So you're going to go through and you're looking at the 20 pictures and there
Right.
might be a nice professional video that goes with that. And you're looking at all the details of that house and that looks good. Typically you would say, okay, Brandie, let's look at these 5 or 6 homes this weekend. And that's not what we're doing. We're kind of stopping in our tracks right there. And we're saying, okay, if this is on your short list, now let's start digging up everything else we have. So we'll show you sellers disclosures. We'll show you maybe even a video that is just accessible for real estate agents, kind of in the back door of the MLS.
Ooh.
You can share, you know, those videos that have an agent walking through the home and showing you the real details of the home. So, you know, things that didn't get covered in a photo and didn't look beautiful enough to make a video, but we need to see that laundry room. You know, you want to see the attic. You might want to see the tile in the shower that didn't get photographed. All of those things have helped us narrow down what we need to go see. Now, there are some sellers who are absolutely open as long as we're going by CDC guidelines, or they're absolutely open if it's a very, very well qualified, serious buyer who thinks this could be a home I'm putting an offer in on. They will allow us to go in person to see it. So that typically is after you've gone through all those steps virtually. You know, we're not casually showing anyone any home right now. And so what that looks like is you actually go with masks and gloves and Purell and booties. An agent walks in and opens all the cabinet doors, you know, opens shower curtains, turns on every light switch, opens every door. No kids allowed at any of the showings. And typically it's one person at a time. Sometimes if it's an occupied home, they're actually only allowing one person total to go in. So it will be my buyer. And that's different, you know, because I like to go in usually and point things out. Right? We've seen a lot of homes and you can help them along the way. And that is not happening probably in 50% of transactions right now. I've never seen the inside of the home with my own eyes. So it's changed. But again, that protocol makes a seller feel very confident and very safe with letting a stranger into their home. And buyers feel the same way. You know, even if we were in together, we're still staying 6 feet apart. We're doing it all very differently, but real estate is absolutely moving. And, you know, like I said, in the last week or two, bidding wars are back. It is, I mean, it's hot in some of these price points. Inventory's low and it is a super competitive market.
Well, that brings up 2 questions for me based on what you said, specifically, of course, because I do family law, divorce, matrimonial law. We have a lot of clients that were either thinking about listing their house as part of their divorce, need to sell their house as part of the divorce, had it listed and maybe kind of withdrew it from the market with the uncertainty. So 2 things, if you could touch upon them. One, you talked about, you know, really vetting out the buyer to a point where, you know, if a seller is going to let you in the home, it has to be like a super qualified buyer. Are people getting qualified? Are they still, from a financial perspective, able to purchase? And second, for my sellers who would be divorcing couples who need to liquidate their home, I'm hearing that now actually might be the time that they can jump on this and possibly end up a little bit better than they might have pre-COVID.
Absolutely. So you're right on all of that. So regarding the mortgage process and getting pre-approvals, that's absolutely still happening. What I would tell you, my advice would be to buyers is if you had that pre-approval pre-COVID, so pre-mid-March, I would encourage you to reach out to your lender, as some things have changed. So,
Okay.
you know, some of the programs that they were offering, there just now could be tweaks on the minimum amount of down payment money you need to put down. There also could be a change on the minimum credit score that they're requiring. So it's just a quick touch point. Touch in with your lender. There's probably still programs. People are absolutely getting pre-qualified. But job situations have changed, right? So they just need to kind of make sure that that still is okay, because you're not getting in a house right now without that pre-approval, and it needs to be an updated one in the first, you know, in the last 30 days.
I would assume that also makes a buyer more marketable when they're doing this process, that if they can tell their seller, now I've been reconfirmed by a lender that I'm pre-qualified, even in this, you know, upside down world, the seller's more inclined to say, come on in, show me, I'll show you my house.
That's right. Yeah. So we always will say now, is it an updated pre-approval? And if so, then that's great. You have to have the pre-approval when you make an offer anyway. So it's just a great step, and it arms you, and you're ready to make a move as soon as immediately when you see that house. Again, going back to how competitive it is in such a low inventory, that literally the day you see a house and you love it, there's not that luxury right now of thinking about it for a couple of days. You need to have an offer in, or at least let that agent know an offer is coming, because, you know, this happens even Saturday in my world. There was a house listed on Saturday. I went and showed it 2 or 3 hours after it was listed, and by 5 o'clock they had 8 offers. So I'm in that bidding war right now, but that just tells you how hot some of this inventory is, right? And now for divorcing couples, so you're out there, you know, it is very competitive, but you've also now got kids at home. And I know when I was going through my divorce a few years ago, the way that I felt like I was most organized with my home search is doing it during the day when my kids were at school. And we don't have the luxury of that kind of free time right now. So this whole virtual experience has been actually something I'll keep in my business going forward, because it is really super serving my client in a way that I guess I really never even realized. So what we're doing is, you know, again, just kind of showing them everything virtually. But what my clients with especially young kids are doing is, I have an app that I use when I go and personally video a home. So especially if it's vacant, I can do that. If an agent doesn't have a personal walkthrough tour, and I really want to show my buyer, I will go and do that. And so on the app that I use, all my videos are actually stored. I can talk to my buyer in real time. They could say, could you show me that laundry closet again? And I can go back and do that. But what's also great, and what I'm getting as far as feedback, is they can also watch it during whatever time they may have available. So I might be able to get approval to go into a home during the day, but my busy mom or busy dad isn't available to even talk to me interactively at that time. All these videos save, and after they've put the kids to bed, they can actually get on and look at every video that I've posted. And we are moving real estate fast that way. It's actually, you know, saving them time, and they don't have to make arrangements for kids right now to get out and to look.
So I'm hearing that this is almost becoming a more customized process, a more customized experience, even more personal, even though the face-to-face might be there, because the luxury of time is on, not for purchasing itself, because I understand the market's hot, but the luxury of time for actually viewing homes, looking at the specific things that they want, being able to recall those specifics when they're analyzing whether that fit is really right for them. And from a divorcing couple perspective, the more they work with their agent, the more cooperative they are, the more price oriented they are, the more forthcoming they are with information about the actual physical layout of their home and the features that could be marketable to a buyer, the more they're in the driver's seat and able to actually offload this piece of property that they might not be able to maintain when their process is over.
That's right. That's exactly right. So it has become a way to really, super serve everyone in the time that they have available to do it. So if a seller is cooperating and just going above and beyond really, and helping the agent, in a way that they haven't done before, and they're willing to, at whatever is convenient for them. I mean, everyone's home. So, they can do videos on their own or pictures or whatever it is that a buyer is really needing. But if we have that seller on board to help us out in that way, it is just a win-win situation. Yeah, it's going really well.
And my guess is, you said yourself that you're going to keep this as part of your business on a moving forward basis. My guess is that this is going to be sort of the real estate agent superpower, like you have, that when we all go back to being released into the wild, and real estate kind of shifts back to potentially a more person-to-person experience in the real world. I'll use the quotes there. An agent who has this virtual option, who has the ability to record, to snap it to their buyers that can be looking at all hours of the night, who aren't, standing there on a Sunday kind of drumming their fingers for the 1 o'clock open, where we all flood in. Houses may be going before they're even listed at this particular point in time.
Absolutely. Can you imagine the convenience of having an agent that is, tech savvy, who's open to doing this virtual experience for their buyers? And when we get back into that real world, a mom or dad could literally be sitting on a soccer sideline looking at, videos, as their kids are practicing for the game. You're sitting there forever. There's so much wasted time there. You could actually be doing that there. So it really will be, for my business, just a way to just respect their time even more. I always try to make sure that I'm cognizant of their busy lives, and I try to work it in for them. But in this way, it's so convenient for everybody. So I do think it is, there will be new ways of obviously doing business. And some of these ideas will certainly carry over even when these orders are lifted. Yeah, it's a new way to shop.
And I'm all about the shopping experience. So
yes,
anything
absolutely.
Personalized and time saving. You're speaking my language.
Yes.
I don't have plans to move anytime in the near future, but I'm kind of like, now I'm considering it. I'm like, ooh, let's go buy a house.
Me too.
So what do you think, Brandie, would be like your number one takeaway from your particular customized, customer-oriented service? Because I know that that's what you've been really big about, and what has made you such a resource for the families in Morris County, is that like you're a real live person with a real live business and a real live working knowledge of the real estate industry. What can you say, like, this is my takeaway for today, at least? I mean, it may be different tomorrow.
There's two things.
What's the takeaway?
Yeah, so two things. Get the pre-approval. I mean, it's always been important, but it's vital right now. You will not be taken seriously until we have that. That's one. And then just be open to doing things differently. You will have a virtual experience now, and you have to understand that some of these buying decisions are made completely virtually. So it's just good communication and just being open to that experience. And I can tell you, give it a shot and you're going to start to love it.
So flexibility is key.
It is just being open to a new way of kind of exploring that home and shopping for it. I have a home that is actually in attorney review right now. My buyers have never walked into it.
But they love it.
Yeah, we did it all virtually. So it is a brave soul who can do that. That is not for everyone, but that is how that's how things are moving. That this is the beginning of something new in the way of shopping for real estate.
This is really exciting news. I think people are going to be jumping on this bandwagon, especially as they get more and more unhappy with the houses that they're living in, because COVID's taught them that this is not comfortable for them anymore.
That's right.
And specifically for my clients, the need to find new comfortable places to live in because their home, may not be something that they're keeping anymore. I think this is going to be an awesome way for people to shop going forward. So I'm excited. to learn more about it. I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just so important. Whatever, you know, the way that agents should work with their buyers and sellers is always being a resource, whatever that means. So it is being able to provide them things virtually, you know, working on their time schedule, providing information on communities and neighborhoods and activities and schools. So, you know, there's a multitude of things that kind of go into it. And it's an exciting time. We still have people who want to own a home, and that dream doesn't have to go away right now. We're just doing things differently, but real estate is moving forward.
Well, I think the people that have that dream should be calling you, because you obviously have a passion for this. And I am excited to see what's going on. And I am really appreciative of you being here today and you sharing all your knowledge with our clients, our colleagues, our friends, our family. And you should tell me what happens with that bidding war, because now I want to know. Now I'm invested.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Brandie. It was such a pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Okay. See you soon, Sarah.
Bye.